Aristotle once said, "Man is by nature a social animal." And this is very true. Humans rely on socialization not only as a means to develop emotional maturity and learn valuable life lessons, but also as a means to feel connected during the tough times. The rise of the COVID-19 pandemic has left many people unable to socialize because of the social distancing policies that have been encouraged. And this has resulted in decreased mental health for people of all ages and ethnicities around the world. I believe that the creation of easily accessible Zoom calls, which are designed for students and faculty to discuss their respective feelings about the pandemic, would create a safe space for everyone to feel united throughout this span of social distancing. And by outlining some solutions to this, I hope to convey the importance of relying on one another to get through this tough time. COVID-19 has brought many changes again for people of all ages, and the guidelines that have been put in place to help slow the spread of COVID, while beneficial in protecting us physically, have not done a great job of protecting us mentally. These mandates, again, while useful, have made it hard to socialize safely and have led to many experiencing feelings of isolation, stress, depression, and anxiety. In fact, in an article published to the Journal of Child and Adolescent Mental Health, which surveyed the effects of social distancing on students in Pakistan, the authors Ayesha Mian and Aisha Sober stated, "The challenges which are facing students include feelings of isolation, social contact restrictions, economic shutdown, the closure of schools, and out-of-home leisure activities being discouraged," which is very troublesome. A lot of adolescents especially rely on socialization as a means to express their emotions and keep up with their mental health, but also as a way to maintain a sense of normalcy when they're living apart from their family in order to be attending school. So for many of those of us that rely on peer support, we are now left without our primary means of coping with our emotions. So I believe that the creation of safe spaces where we are encouraged to talk about our feelings and our mental health would definitely decrease the amount of people feeling these emotions. And the reason we need these safe spaces is because professional help is not always an option. In an article published to the International Journal of Mental Health and Addiction, Monique Platel said, when she was identifying some of the reasons that professional help is not always an option, major reported barriers in this population, which for this population it was adolescents, include financial costs, negative past experiences, and having no one to help them access professional care. But for some students and adolescents and even faculty, the reasons that they're not seeking out professional help are much less concrete and simply depend on their own personal beliefs or the way that they were raised. So I believe that we can reinstate this peer therapy outlet by the creation of peer support meetings. Specifically, this would look like the creation of Zoom calls that would allow us to once again connect with our classmates. This is useful because, as Nina Master said in an article published to PLOS ONE, the World Health Organization and U.S. Centers for Disease Control both recommend social distancing for limiting the spread of COVID-19. So the creation of these Zoom calls would allow us to take back control of our mental health without risking our physical health in the process. So I think that these Zoom meetings, which would be created to help us once again connect with our peers and for a lot of us give us back that coping mechanism, should be easily accessible, be monitored, and be supportive. To go more in depth, I think that these should be easily accessible, meaning that they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that people can come and go as they please. I also believe that these meetings should be monitored, i.e. proctored, by student volunteers. And what these student volunteers would do is they would guide the conversation and monitor the conversation and be supportive in means of reaching out to those that they feel are at an increased risk for self-harm or suicidal thoughts. And in my opinion, this would very successfully aid in diminishing the number of people suffering from decreased mental health and having suicidal thoughts and maybe even acting on those at Texas A&M University. So in conclusion, the implementation of social distancing has meant that many of us can't rely on our peers that we're used to doing and have caused a lot to have feelings of isolation and depression. So I believe that the creation of these accessible Zoom calls would definitely create a safe space for everyone to feel united. Next, we'll hear from Reagan, who is going to talk to us about how he believes voluntary randomized study groups could help this issue as well.